Truly delighted to have you on Richard Mwenja Exclusive, your go-to point on matters political and governance analysis here in Kenya and across the region. Great to have you on board. And I have your usual favorite think tank, renowned political analyst, Professor Herman Manyora. Prof, great to see you.
Thank you.
You're doing well?
Oh, wonderful.
All right, Prof. You are a son of the church, and it's only fair that today we discuss the place of the church in Kenyan politics. And we're at a time whereby the president seems to be eager to make inroads to the church in Kenya. From where you sit, do you foresee him riding on the wave of the church to clinch another term in office like he did in 2022?
It is possible, but it will be more of an uphill task.
Why do you say so?
Because now, I think he did not live up to their expectations. That's number one. So the church has been up in arms, as you know. The church has not been happy with the way the president has been running the country. The church has spoken out. The church has criticized the government. So, well, they can still work together, but it will be more of an uphill task. Secondly, this time if the church decides to work with the politicians in the manner they worked with Ruto in 2022, the church will mean two different people, sets of people.
Who and who then?
The church will mean the church leadership and the flock. So the pastors, the bishops can go and take all the money they want from politicians, but their followers will not work with them. That's what I see. That it's quite possible that the church may forgive the president, but that church will not be the church of the followers, of the membership, or of the congregations, no. It will be the church of the leadership of the church. The pastor with his leaders, the bishops, those ones who can go back and sit with the president and other politicians and have a cup of tea and live with the usual brown envelope. Those envelopes will belong to them, and they will be called upon to use their own votes, not the votes of the member. That's how I see it.
Prof, I want to understand something. Very recently, the Catholic Church has come forward with a directive to politicians that you need to donate in silence. Do you think this is a plus for the church in Kenya when you're talking about sanitizing our politics and governance?
Well, donate for what?
That is the question.
What are they donating for? People are supposed to pay tithe. Unalipa sadaka na unaondoka. Hii donating, yengine, what is it for? Why do people want to put up magnificent churches, buildings, worth billions, hundreds of millions of shillings or tens of millions? Why? Why do you want to put up a church worth 300 million? A church? Jesus was a simple man.
Misplaced priorities as a country?
Yeah. Jesus was just a simple man.
Prof, that's the not.
Why do you want to look for donations from politicians? Because you want to do unnecessary church projects.
Infrastructure.
What for?
Self-reliance projects for the church also.
And you know, it is sad because in places in the world where the church started, before it came here, those churches are empty. They are being converted in. So in the next 30 or 20 years, even here, these churches will all be empty.
Online churches only?
They will all be empty, whether they are online or not. People are not following these things. It's sad for those who love God and who are Christians or whatever. It is sad, but that's the reality.
Prof, seemingly that's not the only directive coming from a section of the church in Kenya today. There's also another directive that, hey, we are not going to host politicians in our pulpits. You can come there as a faithful, sit there, pray, and walk away. But these are directives that not the entire church in Kenya has taken in good faith. Why do we see this fragmentation within the Kenyan church? The Catholic says this, another outfit believes in a different story.
But you see, they are different people. They are all different. So let each do what they want. If Catholics think it's not good, you can't force the African Israeli Navy from my place to do it. No. These are independent churches. I mean, independent from each other. Yeah.
Claim in town, Prof, is that much as the church today is trying to play its oversight role, checking in on the government for the better good of the citizens and Christians at large, they believe that the church of today is yet to earn the credit the church that was there during the Second Liberation and Ndingi Mwananzeki and a few others. Do you believe there's an ounce of truth in that argument?
There are tons of truth, not ounce.
Really?
It is true because I was there. You are not there, but I was there. I know. Bishop Okulu, Gitari, Ndingi Mwananzeki, Alexander Muge, the late Alexander Muge, and, they were there. Many of those tough people, Njenga, Reverend Njenga at the All Saints Cathedral, Joya, the evergreen fighter, that you can't compare that to anything now. But you see, it is because money has come into play. And with money, you can silence any critic. Everything has become transactional. So
including servants of God?
I can't blame them because, you see, and the economy is doing so bad, even if you are a bishop. Let's just put it this way. You are a father, like my nephew, Ndombi, Father Ndombi. You are just a father, an innocent father, or an innocent bishop. There will be many people in your house looking for employment and looking for food. Because the economy is doing so badly. Over the years, our economy has been going down and down and down. There's so much suffering in society. You find yourself, even as a bishop, in need of resources to support people, close relatives and others. That has made it difficult for men of God to stay away from money. So you need to be extra strong to be able to withstand all these kind of things. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason why the church today is a pale shadow, to use the cliche, a pale shadow of the church you refer to, of the second liberation, the church of the 1980s and so on and so forth, 90s. There is something that is very sad in this country. It is called tribalism. Not tribe, tribalism.
Tribalism?
A lot of the people who are fighting more, civil society and the church, were informed more by tribal consideration than love for country.
Really?
I'm telling you. It's sad, but that's the truth.
Tribalism made way to the church?
We have many critics, people who criticized Moi badly from civil society. Kumbe, they were just tribalists. They were just driving tribal agenda. When Kibaki took over, they all went silent. People, even writers like Ngugi wa Thiong'o, these are just tribalists.
Can they say so?
I'm telling you, these are just tribalists. Say they will not come back to Kenya until, but when the time they were coming to Kenya, there was more tribalism than there had been during Moi's time. There was more corruption in the country than we had ever imagined.
The political
when Kibaki took over, my friend, we created billionaires in a question of 1, 2, 3, 4 months. We had billionaires. Let's not mention them. It took, during the Moi days, it was 10% and grabbing land here and there. When these guys came with the Anglo leasing and the rest, because Goldenberg was a mere 5 billion. 5 billion. Compare what is 5 billion during the Kibaki's time. People were putting in pockets tens of billions in one deal.
For a man who's been profiled as the best CEO Kenya has ever had.
Forget about it. There's nothing like that. It is, some of the things happen because of the time. Like changes in foreign exchange policies and rules and regulations. It was not an individual. It was what was happening in the world. Liberalization was not a Kenyan issue. It was a global phenomenon. Many of the changes that were taking place here were global changes that were happening across the world. So much as Kibaki tried a bit, but the point I'm making is, we expected the people who made a lot of noise during Moi to continue being vigilant, at the very least. But they went quiet. The church went silent, leading me to conclude these were just tribalists.
Talking about tribalists, Captain Member of Parliament Oscar Sudi a while back profiled Archbishop Anthony Muheria as a tribal bishop, saying that you are calling out on the government of today because the president is not a Kikuyu. You acquired during Uhuru's tenure and Kibaki's tenure. So then, how do you measure the concerns by Oscar Sudi directed to Anthony Muheria?
It is possible, but again, what the country needs to do, when the voice is what matters. I read a very good piece from somebody, from Professor Naituli, criticizing those of us who were asking, where was Muturi? Where was Gachagua? he had a very nice treatise. He said, forget about what people did. Let them pay for their mess now. Let them suffer for the mess. But let's listen to what they are saying. When they call out government, that's what we should be looking and celebrating. So it does not matter that Bishop Muheria could have kept quiet during Uhuru's tenure or even supported him. What matters for now is the things he's saying we need to listen to, and government needs to listen to. And that's the way to drive the country forward. The voice, let's look at the voice. Yeah.
The claim that the church in Kenya has gone full throttle on commercializing spirituality, what's your take on that?
Of course, that is something you cannot deny. In fact, I hold the view strongly, again, that the church must pay tax.
Should we regulate our churches in Kenya?
They should pay tax.
The church?
Why are the rest of us paying? Because most churches have turned themselves into income-generating outfits. They should pay tax. I know they will hate me, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
Because they are not doing what the Catholic Church is doing. Look, the Catholic Church is offering service to the community through schools and health facilities. PCA could be said is doing. You can see PCA churches, schools, PCA,
mission hospitals.
Mission hospitals. You can see SCK. So those ones which are not doing anything for the public, they are in business. They should pay tax.
We expand our tax base.
Yes. Watch how walipe. Kuna watu in one collection wana collect 15, 20 million, 50 million, 100. Walipe tax because hizo pesa wanaweka kwa account yao wanatumia. Nothing goes back even to the congregation. Nothing to the community. So those ones should pay tax.
Should we go the Rwanda way and regulate our churches, even the creation of a church?
That is something we need to discuss. It's a conversation we need to have. Because I was listening to a clip. I think it was Bunge la Wananchi or something. Which is saying, ukienda Mathare, mabendera ndio unaona tuna machaches. Over 400 churches.
Mushrooming of churches.
Kawangware. You know, like it was said by people like Karl Marx, religion is the opium of the oppressed.
Religion is the opium of the masses.
Yes. And you know, I have read a bit about, a bit on liberation theology, well grounded in Latin America. Religion should help uplift the welfare of human beings before they go up. Up there is milk and honey.
Yeah.
But you don't want to get there when you are already dying. In other words, you are not in a position to enjoy the milk and honey. So the church leadership, the shepherd must ensure the flock lives meaningful lives down here. And therefore, theology must liberate the mind. Theology must work with the ministry to ensure that the people who go to church, who go to other religious gatherings, go there when they have something in the tummy. They are not hungry, they are not dying. Their children are able to go to school. They are able to access the facilities like health, to dress well. So, if we allow these crazy formations calling themselves churches, which tell people your treasures are in heaven, the little you have, bring it to the pastor. Where
your reward is in heaven.
No, we can't allow that.
Well, there you have it from Professor Herman Manyora discussing on the place of the church in Kenya in defining Kenya's future. Until we get to do this again, do enjoy the rest of your day.